YouTube, a Twitch, and Periscope, just so you know.
Cool, man.
We're connected. We are connected. I just got to make sure I'm broadcasting on this one. Oh, I'm fired up. Are you fired up yet?
Yeah, brother.
You better be fired up. You know why?
I haven't talked to you in a while, boss.
Do you know why you should be fired up?
How come?
Because we are back. Here we are, Fly Navarro in the No BS World Tour, sitting here with Nick from Fish Track. Nick, my man, how are you today?
My man, what's going on, my brother?
Everything good?
Yeah, too fucking hot here in New Jersey, though.
Hey, listen, come down to Florida. It's pretty hot down here.
Yeah.
I see my little cousin is watching. Good to see you. Gonna open this up. I see Richie Bright, Jason Holland, Jeffrey Wilson, John Del Castillo, Steve Merrill. Hey, wait a second. Is your name
Steve Merrill, man?
He just said you're the Hammer.
Stevie, I'll tell Fly that story, bro.
Well, you know what? Tell the story right now while I share it to all these pages.
Oh, geez, man. I don't know. That little I'll tell you a good story about bluefin tuna. If anyone has been up in the Northeast, man, the tuna bite is just freaking off the wall right now in New Jersey and like New York area. And, we're getting them on poppers and like slide baits. I mean, you can troll. I mean, everyone starts out trolling like the side tracker spreaders, but then we ended up with like tossing these Savage Gear Max sticks or like Mad Mantis poppers. But I just landed one the other day. It was about 160, 170 pounds, man. It's just, the bite's been phenomenal. I've never seen it like this. I mean, it's literally one of those historical years where you can go out, you can get your 2 unders, your over of bluefin, and release like at least a dozen, 15 more, catch some yellowfin in the mix, and be back at dock by noon, man. It's sick. It's literally wild right now.
That's actually some really good fishing. Really good fishing. I got to give a couple shout outs here. I see Alex from Cameroon. Good to see you, Alex. Richie Bright joining in again. So Alex and his wife, they watch every night in Cameroon.
Nice.
Every night. And right now, I've been invited. Oh, McGrew Rice is in from Hawaii. So good to see you. Robert Hollingsworth. I see Delcio Silva all the way from the Azores. So watch what you say.
Worldwide, baby.
You're going world. Hey, listen, people think that Pitbull, Mr. 305 is worldwide. Right here, 561, baby.
Flies worldwide, dude.
Global. This is global. Captain Eddie Herbert in the house. My captain for 14 years on the Real Tight.
Nice work.
He had to put up with my shit for 14 years.
Right.
Listen, if anybody knows how to sass, it's definitely me. I'm sassy.
He can call you out.
Oh, dude, he can so call me out. Alma, I owe you a press release. Please send me the email right now. I have the press release done. Did you get the press release from the World Cup?
Yeah, we just posted it on, as you know, Fly, like right now I took over as editorial director at Fish Track. And we just posted all the Blue Marlin World Cup standings there. That 964, I think, out of Cape Verde won it.
Yep.
That's sick, man. Amazing fish.
964. And Done Deal was in the Big Blue Challenge. They took the Big Blue Challenge. They also won the Golf Cup. So, which I started back in 2012.
Yeah.
So, I actually simultaneously run the 2 tournaments at the same time.
You're hustling, man. I remember when you started that down in, we were at the IGFA banquet. And down there, I think it was Lauderdale, Miami, after Dania maybe. But I remember speaking with you about that. You said you got all these tournaments running, man. Looking awesome.
You know what? It's one of those things I enjoy doing. And so I create a lot of content. It's one of those things. Hey, I lost you. Where'd you go?
Hey, hang on. You there?
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, I had
listen,
someone calling in.
I-
Everyone wants to know what's happening with Bluefin right now after I just mentioned it. Now I'm getting all these calls.
Well, you guys got to sit here and watch if you want to see Bluefin. And you know what? We're only like 10 minutes into this thing, and you're hanging up. Usually, it takes me at least an hour, before somebody hangs up on me. Oh, Eric Keaton in the house saying,
yeah,
"Hey, Nick."
That's Dan's son. That's what we were just talking about when you guys fished together. You fished with Eric's dad on the shark bite, man, up in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, actually, he fished with us on the Big Smoke.
Oh, dang. There you go.
Yeah, no. They all flew up and they came out fishing with us on the lobster boat. So the shark bite stays in Jersey. They fly up. We put them on the meat for 3 days. Man, we have some unbelievable fishing.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's funny you call it big. You fished on the Big Smoke. Eric, who's watching right now, he owns a barbecue business up here called Local Smoke, dude. So maybe there was some good vibes going on.
We got to do it. Hey, Eric, shoot me a message. I'll get you up there. He says, I got to get up to Nova Scotia. Come on. Just give me a call.
Tell EK this Miller Lite's for him, man.
There you go. That's right. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
In New Jersey, it is.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So anyway, you just took over Fish Track. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on there.
All right. Well, I'm not sure how much people know of me or not know of me, but I've been in the fishing industry on the journalism side for 22 years now. I can't freaking believe how long it's been.
You're
I got
old.
into the business in '98. And anyone in like the Northeast area who's familiar with the Fisherman magazine, that's where I got my start. I was editor's assistant over there under Pete Barrett. I also did like the advertising circulation. And then throughout the years, I've been with every single magazine that's out there, man. I was managing editor at Saltwater Sportsman in-house down there in Winter Park, Florida for a few years.
I think that's when I met you, when you were at Saltwater Sportsman.
Yep. And but I felt it was I'm not an office guy. I like being on the water a lot. And even though it's a glamorous job being the editor of one of the biggest magazines out there, it's you're still in an office a lot, so I wanted to jump back out, and I still write for all the magazines. I'm field editor at Saltwater Sportsman, Fisherman on the Water, contributor at Field and Stream, Outdoor Life, and then just talked with Fish Track, and now I'm the new editorial director at Fish Track. And now, man, I've been around a lot, man. It's I had a couple TV shows. One was on World Fishing Network, hooking up with Nick and Mariko Izumi, which was a cool show, and I hosted Sport Fishing TV on NBC Sports when I was a Saltwater Sportsman. And now I got, like you can't tell, I got Saltwater Underground. That's kind of like the...
Tell us what Saltwater Underground is.
That's the new gig, man. It's kind of like, I guess, my brand. If you go to saltwaterunderground.com or at Nick Honachefsky on Instagram, I know it's a long-ass name. I'm a big old Polak, so it's hard for me to even spell. But
listen, it's okay. Saltwater Underground.
Yes, the Saltwater Underground is a show that I host right now and produce as executive producer and host. And currently it airs on tackledirect.com. But if you just type in Saltwater Underground, the film series, we have 4 episodes out. We've been sponsored by Shimano, St. Croix, Mustad, Van Stahl. We got a bunch of episodes out now, and some cool vids, man. They're palatable. They're like 6 to 10, 12 minutes long. We shoot with red cameras. I mean, I hire the top-notch guys at Dark Fall Productions, and you got to see it, man. It's real cinematography, man. It's beautiful. So check it out.
You know what I'm going to do is, while I'm sitting here on the computer, I'm gonna look up Saltwater Underground. I'm gonna put the link on here so everybody can see it.
Cool, man.
Big shout out to Johnny Brooks on Ditch Digger up there in Jersey.
Yeah, Ditch Digger.
Yeah, and a big shout out to my man Tarzan. What's going on, Tarzan?
Is he coming from the jungle or something, or what?
Yeah, Tarzan's Jungle. You haven't seen him on Instagram? He's like the new dude. I'm more of a fan of him than he is of me.
Wow.
He's a badass. He really is.
Tarzan, I
So
gotta look him up on Insta. Tarzan, hit me up.
it's
That Nick
it's
Honachefsky.
it's Fish Like Tarzan. So it's Saltwater Underground.
Yeah, yep. And then the Instagram's at Nick Honachefsky. If anyone wants to follow, I'm always posting new stuff, and obviously just check it out. Been around a while, man. Traveled the world and fished it. So just like you, Fly.
Oh, there you are. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy this link, and I'm going to. Oh my gosh, who? That's not you on there. That's some good-looking guy on there. That ain't you. Come
Hey,
on, man.
COVID took a toll on everyone, bro.
No, you don't have to tell me. I'm gonna post it up here, Saltwater Underground, and I'm gonna post it up on the other side so everybody can see it as well. Guys, check him out. Go to his. Let me put it right there so everybody can see it, and that way everybody can check you out. So if anybody wants to see what Nick is doing, that's his website. Check out some of his videos. And okay, so we got this. Oh, Captain Bouncer Smith joined us. That's
Bouncer.
That's the legend right there, dude.
Yeah, I've only met him a couple times.
He is like the real deal. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about this bluefin fishing you guys got going on up there, because what you guys got going on right now is pretty epic. It really is.
It's legit, man.
So let's talk about it a little bit.
Well, anyone who really goes out kind of starts out in the early morning. I'm talking leaving dock at like 2 a.m. Because right now the tuna, they've been in as close as like 12 to 15 miles. Later in the season, when the waters get a little colder, they'll move in close like that again. But right now they're generally 45 to 75 miles offshore. And that's inside the canyons, like the Hudson, Wilmington, Spencer canyons that are off the New Jersey coastline. But, anywhere from 45 to 75 miles out, sunrise comes up. You're always looking to see if like the tuna are pushing bait. And any offshore fisherman knows, when you see that wake pushing water, it could be real subtle, or it could just be, you could see the real little ripples moving ahead of the V wakes, almost like redfish schooling in the flats down Florida, Mosquito or something. But, but then you'll see the fins coming out, and then, if you're real lucky, you get to see them explode over all the bait fish. But generally, everyone's starting out. Side tracker bars are the hot shit now up here. I personally don't take any sponsors or anything. I've been in the business for way too long. I don't take sponsors or anything, but there's products I use. I use Chatter Lures side tracker bars. I've been using. A lot of people use those up here. And generally, everyone starts trolling the spreader bars and the ballyhoos way back on Blue and White Islanders or Joe Shoots. And, you troll around, you're going to get fish right off the bat. But the key is finding the fish. Then you can go pop them up or troll them up or pop them or jig them up and all that jazz. And it gets just super exciting. Like if any of you guys are listening, and if you check out my Instagram, at Nick Honachefsky, you'll see this 170-pound bluefin that I beat on a 7.5-foot Therese rod, 10,000 Saragossa reel, and 50-pound Seagar fluorocarbon line. And I fought it for about an hour and 10 minutes. And it was a ball-breaking fight, man. I'll tell you what. But, it's sick. I mean, the bluefin tuna fishing is just, like, unreal this year. And people who have never caught tuna before are flocking to, like, New Jersey to get in on this fight.
It's listen, I've been listening about it for about 4 weeks now. So it's pretty amazing. So what's the average size fish that your guys are dealing with?
Well, you can get 2 unders and 1 over right now federally, which means 2 between 27 and 47 inches, and then 1 between 47 and 73 inches. And you can't keep anything over 73. So like everyone will get their unders really quick. There's a lot of schools of those, we call them footballs up here, like 25 to 30, 35-pound fish that are in that 28 to 32 inch range. And then you'll see these pods of like fucking massive tuna, like busting through that are 150, 200, maybe even 250 pounds. And you just see them flashing, coming through the water, and you see them go flank side, and you try and get them to pop, and they'll come up and turn and go back down, but they won't hit. But so you got to just try to keep switching out your poppers. And funny enough, my boys were getting them on poppers, but then the the bite went off. So I was talking with Sammy Root over at Savage Gear the other day, and he sent me a few of these sick little baits out, man. They're called Max sticks, I think. But immediately I threw this thing in the water, man. I just started slide baiting it and glide baiting it back and forth, and that fucking 170-pound bluefin, everyone came up out of the water and goes, boom, walloped it, and all three of us on the boat, four of us were like, oh, holy shit, we're like, and I'm tired like this. And with that 10,000 class reel, man, he was just going and going. We're only in 250, 300 foot of water, so he couldn't sound too much, but he sounded enough where it was like a good hour and a half fight. So it was sick though. But these things are sick. I'm getting a whole new shipment of these this week too, so can't wait.
That's awesome. That is man. Awesome. Number one, it's good to hear that we're seeing so many bluefin, because that means that hopefully they will continue to progress and become a better fishery. Right. I've definitely seen. I remember the first time I did some bluefin fishing in '96 out of Gloucester. It was you can see them, but you couldn't catch them. But now it's like nonstop. It's amazing what the fishery's been like over like the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, Fly, for you, do you think that's because there's more fish around, or do you think that's because tactics have changed to really streamline the process?
So that's, it's a little bit of both. Now, when I say that we're seeing a lot more, that's a lot different than catching a lot more.
There is a lot more.
We're definitely catching more. But listen, when I first started working on boats was 1993, and people used to tell me stories of what bluefin fishing was like in the mud hole.
That's what I was just going to say, that, bro.
Yeah. And there hasn't been any fish in the mud hole in years, but now they're starting to show back up.
Yeah, we're seeing that. And if anyone out there doesn't know where the mud hole is, it's off New Jersey. It's about 12 to 15 miles off out of Manasquan Inlet. And that was the legendary tuna grounds where all the giant bluefin would be caught. Like, we're talking 7, 8, 9,000 pound fish up there at spots like the Humpty Dumpty, the Slough, around the Lillian Wreck. And that's all 12 to 15 miles off. And that was before my time. I was in 8th grade in the 80s, or 6th, 7th, 8th grade, But it was before I was on the tuna boats. But I just remember seeing all the photos and Our Stories column and the Star Ledger of these like massive, like 800-pound fish that took up half the page in the newspaper, but those fish, like you said, they're kind of up in Nova Scotia now and up in PEI. And, but we are at the beginning of this year in the mud hole region, there was 400 and 500 and 600 pounders caught, which makes me think those fish might be moving back around through this migratory pattern again.
It's very likely that they're starting to migrate. That's one thing that people don't understand. It's there's nothing constant. Things are always changing. Currents change, fish migration change. So something what might be working for 3 or 4 years may suddenly change. And right. It's important to be flexible, go looking for them. But what I am liking what I see is the number of schools of these little fish. Right. Which is really cool. That means that probably in about 10 or 15 years, the way things are getting managed, we're probably going to be seeing some more bigger quality fish.
That'd be nice. I mean, when you say those schooly fish are around, man, I mean, you can literally catch as many as you want right now up here. I mean, like, at least get them striking the popper, knocking it out of the water and landing a bunch of them too. There's so many 25 to 40 pound fish up here. It's really, enjoyable to see, it's like promising to know that these schools are procreating like this, and there's a lot of small fish around, because eventually, hopefully, unless the Mediterranean fleets wipe them out when they go over there, we should see a nice bluefin fishery along the coast.
So it's funny you bring that up. I have a lot of good contacts. I went and fished a bluefin tournament in Rome 3 years ago. Way cool. Well, yeah. I've continued meeting more and more people, and I put on a tournament last year. I put on a tournament in Saudi Arabia and brought in one of the largest tackle distributors from Spain, and I just spoke with him yesterday. He's from Barcelona. I was supposed to be there in April and chasing bluefin tunas, and he's out there doing it now, and it's all popping and jigging, and he says the fishing is fantastic.
That's great. I mean, that's great if they're on the other side of the pond like that, you know, and those kind of numbers. And, you know, I don't know. We all talk to the NOAA scientists. We all talk to the nymphs and stuff like that. I wonder if there truly is a rebound happening in the bluefin stocks. You know, it's too hard to believe, but from what we're seeing right now, it looks good. You know, I mean, you look at all the stuff in North Carolina, all the fish that have been down there, and what we're seeing in Jersey now, and like you said, in the Mediterranean.
Well, look at what we see in Florida in the spring as your sign just fell down.
You can tell on this is all pro. This is pro shit here.
No, it's all good, man.
That's underground as it gets, man.
That is underground. You see what I had to do, because if not, I'd forget. I put them right on the screen so everybody can see it.
Sure.
But we've been seeing them now going into the Gulf of Mexico in the Keys while they're out sail fishing in the months of April, early May. They're actually seeing them on the reefs going into the Gulf of Mexico.
You're kidding me. Wow.
No. So you're seeing these fish that are going into the Gulf to spawn. Where years ago you would see them going back north on the Bimini side, here in the last 4 or 5 years, you're getting them going south on the Keys. And when you see a pot of 5 to 10 bluefin tunas in 20 foot of water on the sand, it's pretty cool.
That's that's one of my goals is I remember being down in Andros bone fishing at the Andros South Club. I fished with his name was Harlan, but Travis Sands runs out of Abaco Lodge, and I fished with his dad Harlan down there, and he told me, this was in freaking 2001 2002, that all the marlin would come up on the flats, and that's before anyone knew about that stuff except for the local guides on the full moons. And now you're seeing more of that. But getting more to your point is what if we start getting a tuna fishery on the flats or something, or right at the drop edge there,
it's
Alligator
pretty
Light or something,
I mean, I know some of the guys like Alex Adler, Bart Sherwood. A lot of these guys are not sail fishing without an 80 pitch ready to go.
That's sick. Imagine it, to your point here, what's the new fisheries opening up? I mean, maybe that's something that's really cool, that's going to be really start happening. Actually, if I may talk about this, we're talking about how fisheries are changing and you're seeing fish where you haven't seen them before. Up in Jersey now, for the past 4 years, our staple fish of striped bass, bluefish, fluke, and weakfish. Those are the big four by us, right? Now I find myself writing about Spanish mackerel, cobia, sheep's head, king mackerel, redfish. It's something's happening. And, granted, we're getting, our water temps are the same in the summertime, 75, 77, 80 degrees on really hot summers. But we're seeing these fish move here earlier and stay here later now. And the fishery is changing. Now you can see the tackle shops are changing up, putting in different rigs. People are, tying sheep's head rigs now, or, buying live eels for cobia off the surf. I mean, it's getting crazy up here. And, I'm not, but, I don't know what the science is of global warming, what's the truth, what's not, anything. But all I know is that fisheries do change. Because up in New Jersey in the old days, we used to have redfish out here that outnumbered striped bass. They used to call them channel bass back in the 20s and 30s, And there's a reason that why Sheep's Head Bay is named that up in Brooklyn, So,
yeah,
these fish, they're cyclical. So maybe we're just seeing something that we've never seen in our historical lifetime happening again,
So for me, luckily, I sit on the Highly Migratory Species Advisory Panel. So right. I get to listen to a lot of the scientists and what they're talking about and what they're thinking. So there's always, especially with the bluefin tuna, there's always a lot of studies going on with bluefin tuna. It's a very big thing. It's a big industry. So people always want to know what's going on with the bluefin fishery. It's so there's a lot of money and a lot of time spent on the studies
Right.
on that.
Yeah.
That. So, and I've had the pleasure of going to the Tsukiji fish market and watching them get auctioned off in Japan, which
That's
was
sick. Really?
that was way cool.
What happened there? What'd you have to do? I've never been to that fish market at all.
Well, that fish market has since closed. They opened up a new one. That one was 63 acres. I was there the last year they were open, and actually there was a giant fire on my last day in Japan that trip. Which my phone started blowing up saying, "Is it your fault?" I'm like, "No, it's not my fault." But I went again this year. I was there back in February. I was there for 18 days. And actually I just took position or accepted the position. A friend of mine lives in Okinawa and they've never had an all release Blue Marlin tournament. And he asked me to be the tournament director. So next June, we're going to have a all release Blue Marlin tournament in Okinawa, Japan.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to
It's
check it out.
It's I just like the fact because he was looking to do something that was all release, and he had never done it, and he asked me for some help, and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. He goes, but I want to fish it. Will you be the director? I'm like, okay, yeah. You twisted my arm. I'll go to Japan.
Yeah,
I'll go to Japan. So,
get straight. I'll tell you what. I've been eating sushi for like the last month straight, and making poke bowls, sushi.
Oh, I love poke.
I'm giving away so much tuna right now. I got so much I can't even like handle it. It's but I'm making a lot of families happy right now. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got that tuna." It's funny. I just rented a new office space down in Lavallette, New Jersey, and I wasn't sure if the landlord was going to like what I was doing in there, bringing fishing rods in and out and all that. So I see her one night. I get back from the trip. It's like 11 p.m. She's coming up to like clean the whole area there. And I was like, "You want some tuna?" And she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Really?" Oh, I went out to the car, grabbed like these 2 bags like this. She texted me the next day. She's like, "Oh my God, it was so delicious. Whatever you need, we're here. Just ask." I was like, "That's how you do it."
That is awesome. While you silence your phone, I want to give a big shout out to Scooter Porter, the captain of the Florida Lee, who just broke or has a pending Alabama state record for Blue Marlin with an 851-pound Blue Marlin. Congratulations, Scooter.
Congrats.
He fishing the World Cup, but he caught the fish the day after. So it's but still unbelievable. Boss lady caught it. So not only is it a pending Alabama record, but it's a ladies record as well.
Wow,
so,
that's impressive. Wow.
Way big shout out to you, Scooter. Congratulations on that. So anyway, so you got this new office. You got the landlady. She's on your side now, man.
Yeah. Hey, you want to actually laugh? You're talking about the new record that's pending there from Scooter. This is the greatest thing you're ever going to see in your life. Ready? Now, I don't know if anyone knows what kind of fish this is. Maybe you can chime in there on Facebook. I'll let it go for a minute. But this fish right here is the largest trash fish in the entire planet Earth, and had been caught and certified as an IGFA all tackle world record.
It's
mine,
really?
By the way. Yeah. And what it is, it's actually called a bergal, okay, which is AKA a cunner. And the funniest story about this fish is that I'm fishing on the Dauntless, which is what's that?
Wait, somebody guessed it. Bergal. Danny Iberg from Staten Island.
Yeah,
yes.
You probably would know, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, oh my God, it's a really ignominious distinction, I'll tell you that. But I was fishing on the Dauntless out of Point Pleasant on a party boat. You guys call them head boats down there. And we're black fishing and ling fishing. And I drop down this clam bait and I start reeling it in. And I'm like, oh man, another nice like 2-3 pound blackfish for the cooler. Start reeling it in. And I flop this thing on deck. And Captain Butch on the Dauntless looks at me. He goes, dude, he goes, holy shit, that's a Bergall. And I look down at it, I go, Bergall, because Bergalls are normally about literally like 3 to 4 inches, like tops. I mean, we use them for bait all the time, you know? I mean, literally the biggest I caught before this was 5 inches long, right? Long story short, I text my boy Sean. I go, dude, what's the New Jersey state record for Bergall? He's like 1 pound 3 ounces. I'm like, dude, I got that beat. I know I do. I go, what's the world record? He's like 2 pounds 3 ounces. I was like, I think I got to run for the money. So we get in the dock. I call Brian from Fisherman Supply. I'm like, there goes the banner. I call Brian from Fisherman Supply. I was like, yo, brother, I go, keep your scale up, and I got a potential world record coming in. He's like, oh man, he's all excited. He goes, what is it? What is it? Bergall. He goes, get the fuck out of here. He's like, I'm not keeping the store open for Bergall. So kept the store open. We put it on the scale. We weighed it. It was 2 pounds 9 ounces, which beat the previous IGFA all tackle world record by like 6 ounces. And it even gets better, right? So, you know, I don't know anyone who's caught like an IGFA record out there, but when you get the forms, you got to fill out like the line class, how length of flight. So they're like, you know, what was it? How much, you know, it was Bergall. How much did it weigh? 2 pounds 9 ounces. Said pound test. I'm like 65 pound braid. They're like length of fight, you know, and usually like a tarpon, like 2 hours, like length of fight, approximately 24 seconds, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, classic. But had it mounted, man. I had to. All my boys were like, you got to mount this thing.
So is it still a record?
Funny enough, I held it for 6 years, but somebody with apparently lower standards than mine beat me. And not only that, you want to see how tied together I am to this fish. You know, Superstorm Sam, you wiped me out in New Jersey. Like I lost everything, including the original mount of this. But my friend Lloyd Walters from Anglers Nation surprised me 2 years ago, and he had another mount made of it. You know, so it was kind of cool that he did that. But
how cool is that?
Yeah,
that's way cool.
It's a beast. It's a beast.
I helped certify. I was videoing everything. A tomato hind grouper out of the Indian Ocean. It was something like 7 pounds 8 ounces.
Oh wow!
The record was held out of Japan, and I think we beat it by 1.5 pounds.
Get out of here! Really? Wow.
Yeah, and go ahead, take it down.
Yeah, it's down. The underground's down, dude.
We put it up already. It's up. Everybody can look at it. But yeah, we went out to a certain bank out there out of the Seychelles. It's 120 miles offshore, which the Seychelles itself is far enough away from anything. But we went at still another 120 miles offshore, and we went out there specifically with a list of world records to try to beat. And that was
no
the
way.
one. Yeah.
Hey, have you ever caught a Napoleon wrasse out there?
I have not, but I've seen him caught.
That's like one of my hit lists. I haven't gotten checked off yet.
So when the guy I went fishing with in Egypt, Hagera, Egypt, he owns KBE Expeditions and KBE Anglers Hub in Dubai. I went out fishing with him, and that's like the coup de grace of all that top water popping stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the
what's that?
With the GTs out there too, right?
Oh my gosh, the GT fishing is awesome. So the guy that I partnered up with to do the tournament in Saudi Arabia on my third or fourth trip last year, he had seen some of my pictures that I go kite fishing. He's like, man, I'd really like to try that. I says, I'll bring you some kite stuff. So I brought him over all the kite stuff. And sure enough, we go out there and he catches a sailfish. And I said, hey, man, I think what's going to be really cool with this, you just got to figure out to make sure they don't get you in the rocks. It's getting a bite on a GT. And when they opened up Saudi after COVID, I get a phone call from him. Look what I just caught. I just caught this GT on a kite. What an unbelievable bite. It was amazing.
Yeah, but you know what's so cool about that though is that like, you know, we trade techniques whenever we travel. You know, like wherever you go, you always take something back with you, like mentally, but you always leave something. You know,
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
you know, whether it's like a tactic, a technique, or even like physical lures. I remember I was in Belize one of the times, and these two hardcore little local guys. They were maybe about like 8 and 9 years old, and they were casting at the dock every day, you know, and you know, bringing me bait. Like I didn't even ask for it. They didn't even want any money. Bring me bait, sabiki rigging and stuff. And I looked, you know, at these kids, and they see me catching like bonefish, and I'm catching cooter from the flats, and I had this big box of like, you know, all like bomber lures, Ava jigs, you know, poppers, and all that. And when I left, it was so cool because the little kids both came up to me, and I gave them both like hugs, man, because like we became friends. And then I opened the box like this, and I go, pick out one lure that you want. And he picks that, and he goes through them all, and he goes like that. And he takes the lure out, and I close the thing, and I give him the whole box. You know, I just want to know which one is his favorite, you know, but like I gave him all my tackle, and man, you should have seen these kids. Their eyes were so big, and it was like, you know, Christmas morning for them, you know, it was, you know, it's just so great giving back, especially to the locals, you know? So
It's so awesome, especially kids, to watch
yeah.
kids, like Tarzan. He joined, he's already gone. He's at a sleepover. He, I went fishing with him and his dad a couple of weeks ago. And for me, it was neat to look at fishing through an 11-year-old's eyes.
Right.
I spent most of the day, I think at most I spent 15 minutes fishing. The rest of the time I was just taking pictures, him and his dad fishing. But it was neat to see the passion, the excitement of an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
It's so neat. Just watching a tarpon roll, and there's one right there, and it's so, you know, where for me, okay, there's a tarpon rolling, and then I become tactical. It's like and where it's pure excitement, it's pure adrenaline. So for me, it's way cool. It's way cool to see that and share it with everybody. That to me is a way good thing, to be able to share it with everybody.
That's you know, as a writer, you know, for 22 years now, as a writer and editor, a lot of times, like I kind of fall into a pattern and just hacking text out again because I write about a lot of the same things and try and get a different approach. But the cool thing is when you get inspired again. And like you just said, I was inspired over the weekend. I was surf fishing, you know, in Jersey, just trying to catch like sharks or whatever in the surf, chunk and bunker. And this little kid, he was an 8th grader, so I guess like 11, 12 years old. He comes up and he's like, what are you guys fishing for? I'm like, oh, sharks or whatever. He's like, oh, and he started talking about fishing pretty coherently, you know, about freshwater fishing. And I was like, you ever saltwater fish? He's like, no, not really. I was like, all right, we're going to get a shark tonight, you know? And damn if like right after I said that, we hook up, you know, granted it was a smooth dogfish, but it was huge. It was like, you know, because they were spawning on the full moon. It was like maybe a 4-foot smooth dogfish, huge fish, you know. And I let him reel. I gave it to Rod to him. He starts reeling in. The drag's like ripping. He's coming back, and all his friends are cheering him on. And you know, he was like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "This is great." And immediately he's like, "You got an Instagram? I want to follow you and all this." I'm like, "No, man, I want to follow you because you got the passion, and that's exactly what drives me to write, drives me to do like videos or TV and all that. You know, it's like that's the passion that I've never lost." But like it's good seeing it again and reliving it through the younger generation.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I haven't lost it. It's just as you're older, I'll give you a perfect example, and he's not on here watching. If he was, he'd yell at me. So we were down in the Dominican Republic in March for my tournament. Well, before the tournament started, Mike Samuels is down there with his dad's boat. My team had already come in. Oh, Michelle Mackman, Michelle Gaylord now.
Michelle, what's up?
She's not in here, but she was on the boat. You know, my whole team was there. The sponsors were there. We're just out there having a good time. We had caught 1 or 2 blue marlins, and we're wearing the headpieces with the microphones. And I look up. I'm talking to Mike, and I look up and I go, "Blue marlin, left bridge." Nobody's moving. I'm talking into the mic. I go, hey, Blue Marlin, left bridge. Just as calmly as can be. And on the third time, I'm like, the hell with this. Blue Marlin, left bridge. Throw the pitch in the water. Next thing you know, everybody's scrambling around. And then we didn't catch the fish. And I'm like, how come nobody moved? And they're like, Fly, we've never seen you so calm before. You're always yelling and screaming and give me a cup of coffee. Yeah. And for me, when I see a fish, especially when I'm blue marlin fishing, I become into this. I get so zoned out because
it's a fly zone, man. Yeah,
exactly. Because especially now over the last 4 or 5 years, the main thing I do is I coach people, and I coach them when I'm blue marlin. You know, they want to learn how to pitch bait. They want to learn how to hook a fish. And if I'm screaming and yelling, I'm going to get them nervous. So my biggest thing is you stay calm and walk them through. Hey man, there's a blue marlin on the left bridge. Let's get the pitch bait out there. And you stay nice and calm. And to this day, they're still yelling at me for not yelling. And I'm like, I don't yell. It's a blue marlin. If there's a job to do, we got to catch it. We got to catch it. Yelling at it I can revert back to when we were kids. Shh, you got to be quiet when we're fishing. I don't want to scream at them and scare them. So I'm just going to sneak in. Everybody puts the face mask and the buffs on.
That's it.
So I'm going to sneak up on, the blue marlin and get the pitch bait in the water. So, but yeah, so I love to see the kids get excited about it, because they get excited about, no matter what it is. And to me, that's a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, that's like you and me too, man. I know your personality, you know mine. It's like we get so amped up when we're fishing, you know, like being at a desk and doing all our business in the fishing industry is one thing, but when we're on the water, man, we're jacked up, you know.
I'm way jacked up.
Yeah.
Jacked up.
Yeah, it's like living like a kid again, you know, and like, I mean, it's very cliche to say that, but some people are, you know, they don't believe it, or they feel like they have to be like that way. It's like, that's the way that we are. And if you have that passion and that blood in you, I mean, it drives me every single day. I built a career around it, you know, like that's what I wake up and I want to do. You know what I mean? I want to go to bed. I want to go fishing, you know, it's like, that's something that drives, you know, not just you and me, a bunch of people,
a bunch of people.
Yeah. And especially, you know, when we see it in the younger generation that are so addicted to it, like, it's like you see the gleam in their eye, you look at them and you know that they're the ones thinking that, you know, they're going to be the guys that are dedicating a lot of their lifetime to go catch fish. And I love that, man. And, you know, to give you an example, when I was a kid, you know, I don't even know in this PC age now, is there still like a tooth fairy or like anything like that?
There's kids watching here. Of course there's a tooth fairy.
I mean, because I don't lose any teeth anymore. So I don't know if she still comes around, you know, but the tooth fairy, when I was young, when I was losing teeth, my first gift from the tooth fairy was a Fred Arbogast jitterbug, man. And it was the coolest thing underneath my pillow. And I swear to God, like anything, man, I'd pull over the pillow, like picked it out, and I go like this, like, oh my God, a jitterbug. So what did I try and do after that? I started trying to pull my own teeth out to get more lures, man. That's truth, man. That is truth. You asked the tooth fairy on that.
So Nick, here's the good thing. You're about my age. If you wait a few more years, I'm sure they'll start falling out again.
I don't need that, man. I don't need that. Classic. You never know. Maybe you'll see Tooth Fairy again, you know? Oh, man.
Big shout out. We got Dominic Lacombe Jr. in the house, another Jersey boy like you. Also, we got Brian Johnson. Brian, thank you so much. Brian was joining me for all of my live feeds for the World Cup. Awesome. You know, that for me, that's another thing that I enjoy. And you definitely do it in the same realm. I really enjoy the fact, the technology that we have nowadays, that I can actually share so much fishing stuff without just having to be on the boat. So in today's world, and I literally mean today's world of COVID, where we're locked down. People can't travel. This little podcast started just because I wanted to talk to people.
Right.
I wanted to talk fishing with people. And I'm used to being on the road. I'm used to talking to people, being in tackle shops, being at seminars, being in tournaments. And now here I was stuck in my house, and I started broadcasting just so I can talk to people about fishing.
Yeah. It's funny you say that with the COVID, right when it really started kicking in, and when in Jersey is like where it really hit hard first, and I used to do it. Well, it wasn't like as extensive as your podcast is, but I did like a daily update or a weekly update to let people know where to fish. It was called Socially Distant with Nick Honachefsky, and that was great for like maybe 3 weeks, but then all of a sudden, like, it started getting like shut down because they started shutting down spots, and like people started overcrowding areas and stuff. So I had to like close it all down. You know what I mean? But it was born out of this reality where I wanted people to get outside and beat the COVID, you know what I mean? And get out there and say, we're still allowed outside, get out and go fish, like bring your family and whatnot. But then little by little started getting closed down. But I love how your podcast just keeps on flowing, brother. I watch it, man. I love commenting on it. And
what I love is, and mind you, it started with 2 phones in my driveway, and then it got too hot. So I'm like, I got to come inside, and I couldn't go to my office because there's too many people at the boat yard. So I created a studio here, and I'm like, there's got to be a way that I don't have to just do it on 2 phones. And so then I started doing all the homework, and I'm not an IT guy. I really am not. Now I'm broadcasting off a DSLR, and every day I'm trying to upgrade something and add a little logo and add all kinds of different things. And just so we can get it out to more and more people. So, and then this whole thing is being broadcast live on YouTube. So when we're done, I just got to put my little thumbnail on it, and you can share it to whoever you want. Then I can extrapolate it and put it on Spotify, and all it is a bunch of guys and sometimes gals talking about fishing, talking about being outside. That's all I want to do, because I'm not fishing as much as I normally do, and a lot of people aren't.
It's crazy that like now that they put the travel restrictions up here, like anyone can't come from Florida or North Carolina and come into Jersey or New York right now to fish. I mean, you can, but there's like a 14-day quarantine. So now if I even wanted to come down and fish with you, if I flew down there and did that, I would still coming back have a 14-day quarantine. So it limits my ability to travel. It limits your ability. It's
absolutely.
It's a little crazy, man.
I'm scheduled right now to go to Colorado to go trout fishing with my girlfriend in August. But we're looking to see if they're going to close down travel between us and Colorado.
Right.
And then we're supposed to go to Argentina to go to Patagonia to go fishing.
Man, I don't even know if that's happening, man. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't know.
I had so many trips canceled. I was supposed to be in Antigua. I was supposed to be in Cabo San Lucas, back to Costa Rica. All those trips had to get canceled. Luckily, like they weren't like booked because they were booked for like, May, June, July, and all this stuff happened before then. But, it's like internationally, when are we going to be able to get back to, not
going
fearing
fishing.
Travel, not having to fear travel or having to fear coming back into New Jersey and not be quarantined. Like that was just dropped on us 3 days ago. So like
I didn't even know about it. I didn't even know about it till yesterday.
I can't even leave the state to like go fish without coming back and being quarantined under the auspices that I'll be fined if I am not quarantined. $2,000 for the first offense, $5,000 for the second, and $10,000 if you infect somebody directly. Isn't that weird that they actually have it broken down like that?
Holy smokes,
dude! We got this is the standard bandito in Jersey. I mean, we got to wear this all the time up here. And granted, I'm glad I'm not in California with this or anything, but You
You
know,
need one of look at that thing.
what is that? Is that a fly zone?
Yes, it is. And actually, I have a bunch of bandanas that I sent out to a bunch of people, but one of my followers here on the podcast owns a canvas shop and made this thing, took my logo, made it into a full, yeah. I'm like, what's his face from
Batman.
Batman? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like the guy from Batman.
Was it Kane?
Kane, that was it.
Yeah.
I'm like Kane. Exactly. I'm
I think
like
we
Kane.
all are, man. Yeah.
So
it's crazy, but I'm, for anyone out there, man, like just try and learn your local spots and all the COVID. It's
that's what I'm.
Yeah, good.
No, that's exactly why I'm doing this. Wait a minute. What do you mean I look more like Hannibal Lecter? Hello, hello, Clarice.
Classic.
So have we missed anything before? Oh, you're welcome, Arlene. So everybody that's listened to the No BS World Tour at the very beginning, to say thank you. I had them sign up and I sent out stickers and buffs. I didn't realize that buffs were going to be such a big deal.
Yeah, imagine that. I hope that guy's figuring it out. You know what I mean?
Well, it's so funny because I made my first batch. I made 1,000 of them, and Mike Samuels at Viking, they needed them, so I said, "Here's 500." And I gave him a box of 500. Then I ordered 2,000 more, and I've just been sending them out, passing it out to everybody. Here, use them. Be safe. Listen, we don't. Richard Gunn, Lucas Oil. So I don't know where is it? I gotta see if I can find it. It's around here somewhere. There it is. So as I'm setting up this new studio, I grabbed this office chair that I've had forever, but I haven't used it because I'm traveling. But every time I lean back, it's squeak. So I pulled out my Lucas Gun Oil.
There you go.
And yeah, this thing is so awesome. So when I went to Lucas Oil, they're like, "Oh, here, have some gun oil." And what I found out about this gun oil, it's not just good for guns, it's good for everything. I put it on the chair, my trimmer for my goatee, a couple drops.
Put it on bait,
It's bad. Listen, I kind of put it in my hair. I put it on my pancakes. We're good to go. I'm going to just recharge my batteries like maple syrup, brother. It's just like maple syrup.
Universal application, Lucas Oil, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Josh Wilkinson, fly faces plastered all over everything in my house. Hey, Josh, tell Liam he's got to get it all over all the marinas. So I didn't make bobblehead dolls, but I made bobblehead stickers.
Nice.
So Josh and Liam is 9 years old. I sent him 100 of them. I go, dude, make it rain. They live in Virginia. So I'm like, make it rain.
Nice.
So anyway, we're getting ready to wrap this up. Is there anything that you think we missed?
Not me, man. We covered it all, just I'm thankful to have a friendship with you, Fly. We know each other a few years now, and
absolutely,
it's been awesome, man. It's good, like being able to share an experience through your media here, and flat out cool what you're doing. I really dig it, man. And we always follow you. My friends follow you. My friends are your friends too now.
Absolutely. Well, we got some cool stuff coming down the pipe because of COVID. I hate getting bored. So anytime I'm bored, I start building stuff. So we got some cool stuff coming down the pike. So when we release it, you'll be one of the first to know. So then that way you can let me know what you guys think of it.
That's cool, man.
Track, let me know what you guys think of it. And we haven't even touched on, and I'm running out of time, but we haven't even touched on my new Swordfish Around the World tournament.
Swordfish Cup, man.
Yeah. You guys are catching some unbelievable swordfish up there.
Yeah, we always do in the Hudson, Hudson Canyon's like the canyon of the exotics, man, where we drop down and we get some big old swords, like 500-600 pounds. And it's a great fishery up here. It's rebounding. We haven't seen the swords around like in like the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, but they're starting to rebound again now. So it's going to be a great cup, man. I hope to see some guys out of our port going out and fishing it.
Well, I'm looking forward to. That's one of the reasons I started the tournament, just to kind of consolidate everybody together. Just to see, because everybody's loved doing it, and it gives you an opportunity to catch some really big fish, really good eating fish as well. So before we hang up, Josh Wilkinson says, tell Nick I used to live on Sandy Hook, and that's where I caught my first fish ever as a child. So there you go.
What was your first fish, Josh? Hopefully it wasn't like a sea robin or a skate,
Mine was a Jack Crevalle.
Was it? Really?
Yeah, it was like a 3-pound Jack Crevalle, little itty bitty guy on the little bridge going on the Blue Heron, not the big Blue Heron Bridge, but the little Blue Heron Bridge.
Mine was
no, go ahead.
Freshwater. Mine was freshwater rainbow trout when I was 4 years old. That was cool, man. With my dad and my brother. Solid.
Anyway, you stick right there. Let's say goodbye to everybody. Guys, gals, thank you so much. To all you cool cats and kittens, thank you so much for joining us today in the No BS World Tour. We're going to be coming at you this week a couple of times. I waited until Wednesday just because I'm catching up from the World Cup. Way too much paperwork. Hello, Mr. Castillo. How are you, sir? A bluefish and a flounder, but sea robins were always getting on the hook.
Nice. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Woo.
So
Sandy Hook represent.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Nick, hang out right there for a second. Everybody, we'll check you out the rest of the week. And peace out, y'all.